Ain't no problems, we gon' make a way. Got no coach on the field, but we making plays. Hey, look, don't worry, we gon' be okay. Hey, look, why? Cause we gon' make them pay.
We're gonna get to our last college football
38-41.
before we swing. Say it again.
38-41 Bruins.
Ooh, we're gonna see. That does sound like a West Coast type game, so we're gonna see. But our last game, this is a big one too. Utah versus Oregon. I mean, two good Pac-12 late night games. This is the latest night. This is 10:30 Eastern Standard Time in Oregon. We're talking about 8-2 on the year, 6-4 against the spread, going against the Oregon Ducks. 8-2 in the year, 7-3 against the spread, and they possibly were looking ahead as well as they dropped to Washington last week. The line did open up in favor of Oregon -3. Right now, that line has flipped, and now it is in favor of Utah -2. There are a lot of 2.5s out there on the board as well. The total opened up at 62. Right now, that line's at 60. Let's get to these actual factuals right now for Mr. Bo Nix, who everybody's like, oh, he's Heisman, his grade. But you already know what I said. Did he get better, or is he playing against less non-stiffer competition? Utah, actual factuals, 8-4 on the year, in the last 12 games against the spread. They're 8-1 straight up in the last 9 games, 1-4 against the spread in the last 5 games on the road, 1-5 straight up in the last 6 games when playing on the road against Oregon, 12-1 straight up in the last 13 games against a Pac-12 conference opponent. The total has gone under 4 out of the last 5 games against an opponent in the North Division. Oregon Ducks 5-1 against the spread in the last 6 games, so over 6 out of the last 9. They are 8-1 straight up in the last 9 games. The overs also hit 7 out of the last 10 games against Utah. 19-1 straight up in the last 20 games at the crib. 5-1 straight up in the last 6 games when playing at the crib against Utah. 4-1 against the spread in the last 5 games when playing against a Pac-12 conference opponent. And the unders hit 4 out of the last 5 games whenever they're playing against a Pac-12 South Division opponent. Injury reports right now for Utah. They got 2 cats who've been out for the most of the year, tight end and defensive end. But Oregon, they got some injuries, my boy. Wide receiver Chase Cota, he's questionable for this game, undisclosed. Bo Nix, he's having knee issues right now. He's questionable also. Byron Cardwell, he's questionable at the running back position with a lower body injury. And defensive back Jahiel Florence, he is questionable as well. Last time we seen Utah, they won 42-7 against Stanford. And as I talked about Oregon earlier, Oregon lost 37-34 against a Phoenix Washington football team. So with that being said, I don't have a play for this one. I just have a small lean. I'll go ahead and tell y'all my lean. If I were to bet on this, which I'm probably going to bet on this, I will lean towards Utah. But Marley, what is your play?
I like the Ducks at the crib with Mr. Bo Nix. And I know, because I've talked shit.
Wow.
I'll talk shit about Bo Nix.
Finish my bottle on there.
I'll talk shit about Bo Nix.
My bottle on that one.
I'm
truly shocked. Go ahead. You can talk shit about Nick for 5 years.
I'll talk shit about Bo Nix all the time, dog. So I know it's here.
5 years.
But I gotta give credit. Hey, I gotta give credit where credit is due. Like you said, I'm sure part of it is you go from the SEC to the Pac-12. It's definitely, especially at the bottom, outside of the top, it's definitely even at the top. Let me not give them too much credit. Even at the top, it's lesser competition, right? Okay. But I mean, he's still playing against that same lesser competition this weekend. So, and up until that point, he's 24 touchdowns. Only 5, the surprising thing, only 5 interceptions.
And most of those came last week.
And his QBR is 89.1, which is good for third. Not third in the conference. He's third in the country.
This is funny, dog.
It's crazy. He's third in the country in QBR. He's 14th in touchdowns. He's tied for 34th in interceptions and 17th in yardage, which he's thrown for 2,000 yards, 775 yards. The offense is rolling, dog. Like, what can I say? So they're averaging 42 points a game, giving up 27.4 points a game. Big game. I don't know when the last time we saw Oregon in a position like this, probably since the Chip Kelly years. I mean, when they played Georgia at the beginning of the year, we already knew what that was going to be like, a blowout. So, like, this is, like you said, big game, Pac-12 after dark, the only game that's going to be on, even though it's going to be late. All eyes are on Oregon. I bet they're going to come out with some nice-ass unis tonight, something probably, not tonight, Saturday night.
Oh, they do.
As much as I like it.
They do got some unis.
As much as this Utah team and picked them to win the Pac-12 this year, I think they go down. And the thing that I don't like about, I just think Oregon obviously has the better talent, and I think they're the more physical team. And I think outside since that Georgia loss, I mean, it's not too much we can point to. I do agree with you that, you know, we had a letdown against Washington. But Washington's a team with Penix over there at quarterback. So I don't know if that was necessarily a letdown or a look ahead, but they just lost to a good team that was coming in to beat their ass. It was what can I say about that? But I think then you get them coming off a loss, pissed off. The Pac-12 is still up for grabs. They need this win. They can't get into the playoffs, but they're still, and I meant to say this about Ole Miss too, they're still fighting for a New Year's Eve, what do they call it? Holiday, the New Year's Six Bowls, whatever those other bowl games is outside of the playoffs, the four major bowls or however many of it is. New Year's Six, I think is what they call it, New Year's Six. So they're still fighting for one of those bowl games, and I just like Oregon at the crib. I definitely like over this total though. So put me on the Oregon money line and put me on the over 60.
All right. Marley likes Oregon money line and the
Mr. Bo Nix.
He's riding with Bo Nix. I'm really just like shocked. I'm like, wow. I don't have nothing to say. I definitely don't have anything to follow. I'm just like, wow. I'm legit wow. Like when he said it, and I said, wow, that was probably the realest wow and shock that I've ever done on this show. Because I didn't see that one. But hey, man, more power to you, man. I'm gonna be watching. Like I said, I like Utah, but Bo Nix has been looking good. Shout out to him for resurging his career because he came into Auburn with a lot of potential. So
check it out. Look, we from the bottom, ain't no problems, we gon' make a way. Got no coach on the field, but we making plays. Hey, look, don't worry, we gon' be okay. Hey, look, why? Cause we gon' make them pay.